We are talking about astrology and business. Astrology has become one of my favorite subjects as of lately, if you have not noticed. And I'm bringing on a guest. Your meeting is being live streamed. Yes, I know. Thank you. I'm bringing on a guest, so just give me a minute so I can send her over the link, and hopefully we don't have any tech issues while we are on live. Zoom link. Okay, I'm also going to shoot her a text message, let her know that I did send her. Oh, nope, I can see that she saw it. Okay, so while we are waiting for her to come on, I want y'all to tell me, have you been already doing this? Have you already been using astrology in your business? Oh, there she goes. Have you already been using it? I don't know if anybody's even on. I might be talking to myself right now. It's okay. I've learned to be okay with that. Michaela.
Hey, Miss you wipe my my camera off.
Yeah, that was looking a little. That was definitely looking a little blurry. Let me see if I could change this to. They should be able to see us side by side now. Okay. All right. So we are on. I'm going to check to see. I'm going to check the my Facebook to see if we talking to ourselves or are we talking to somebody.
Let me tag you too. On mine.
I mean, it's okay. Listen, anybody who is
you're on.
come over here and watch this later, you have to get used to talking to yourself. Okay, when you start going live, people don't always come on. They come on later. They come on. They leave. If you feeling all uncomfortable with that, you ain't gonna make it at this going live game. Okay. Just letting you know that right now. All right. So it says that I'm live.
I see you too on my page.
Okay, it looks like you mentioned me.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. You know, I got my stuff set up where it's if you mention me, it don't just automatically show up on my page, right?
No, me too.
Oh yeah, I had to actually add it. That's cool though. All right, so okay. Yeah, you excited? Because I am.
I'm excited, girl. I got up, crack of dawn. I was like, let me do something to this face, child. Okay. Let me flip out my fro. I'm ready to talk with Reverend Kamisha, honey.
She's looking fabulous. Okay.
So are you, love.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This astrology in the past, I'm gonna say maybe since like my birthday, somewhere around this year, my birthday, something just clicked, and then all of a sudden, I just like, oh, I wonder what that transit was. It's probably.
Did you look at your solar return chart for this year?
I didn't.
That'll give you some answers too.
Yeah, because it was like all of a sudden I just became like naturally, I was always attracted to it, of course, but I just became like, I don't know, it became easier for me to understand the transits and the interpretations. Whereas though before I'll be like, third house, what are they talking about? You know what I mean? I'll be like, houses? No, I'm exaggerating, because let me give a shout out to Gigi Duwa of I Am Living a Line. She has been my astrology teacher for the longest. She did teach me like the basics of looking at your chart, knowing all the language and stuff like that. But I never really got into the transits until now. So that's what I'm getting at. Like I really when I started actually paying attention to when planets come through certain houses and hit right on certain degrees, and I started noticing like things happen, I was like, oh shoot.
Yes. No, for sure. Deep. For sure. I felt like that even with Leo season this year, like those 12th house transits, I was so tired. I was like, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna rest and retreat and just lay here, and whatever the stars are telling me to do, I'm gonna let them do. And then it's funny because when Mars went into Virgo, which of course is both of our first house, right? it was like this immediate shift. I was like, I had so much energy. I actually dealt with a little bit of insomnia. I was like, okay, I went from being completely depleted to being like an energizer bunny. Like, let me finish all of these tasks that I planned while all the planets were in the 12th house. So it's so funny how astrology plays out in our everyday lives.
Listen, that is so true what you said about that shift. Because it's like all of a sudden when I think Mars came into Virgo, the first house, and then maybe Mercury, I don't know which one came first.
I think Mercury was next.
But it's like as soon as that happened, that's when my girlfriend called me and she was like, hey, I'm reading this book called Atomic Habits. You want to read it with me? And when I saw that like Mercury came into Virgo, I was like, this is ridiculous how spot on this is. And then all of a sudden, girl was getting up 5:30 in the morning. Mars was there.
Me too. But you know, that happened for me when Venus went into Virgo. I was up crack of dawn, getting all my work done in the morning, had the rest of the day to chill. I was like, now Venus and Virgo getting me on a routine again. Okay, I'm here for it.
Yes, getting you together. So if y'all are just tuning in, I hope that y'all are just even picking up that little bit what we just talked about, like how that's why I said, like, if people are not actually paying attention to themselves and journaling every day and really paying attention to their energy and even their interactions, people they come across, you're not gonna see the transits. Like you're not gonna understand if you're not looking at both the transits and yourself. You're not going to see it. But today we really want to talk about how does it show up in your business? Because I wrote down like 3 examples that we could talk about, like how it definitely shows up in your business. So before we get into that, let me plug myself real quick. For the people that are interested in continuing to work with me in like a group coaching setting where you want to get paid to speak, book to speak, travel to speak, or you're just getting into entrepreneurship and you have a lot of mindset shifting that you need, okay? And I think we all need that, so let's not even act like we don't. My Patreon group is going to launch on November the 1st, okay? And the reason why I'm doing that is because I did the 3-day traveling speakers blueprint for 3 months in a row. And I told myself, okay, Kamisha, instead of you keep doing this every month, why don't you just launch a Patreon group so that people can come in and they can work with you on, I'm going to call it a low ticket, but a high value. You'll be getting a lot of value out of it. Now, you're not going to get all the stuff that they get in the mentorship program, but you will get a lot of mindset shifting in there. The top tier is going to be astrology based. Okay, I'm going to have 4 tiers, and the top tier is going to be monthly. I'm going to call it, I don't know if I'm going to call it coaching, but it's definitely going to be, you're going to get like the outline of what's coming in that next month. And so that you'll be prepared for what you need to do to work with the stars. And we're going to talk about that some more today. So if you want to join my Patreon group, which is launching on November the 1st, I want you to go to my bio right now. Don't wait, get off the live, go to the bio right now. That first button up on the top say Patreon waiting list. Okay, that way you'll be on the waiting list and I'll email you when I go ahead on and launch it. Second thing is, if you do, or if you are interested in getting paid to travel, speak, and teach, and pretty much I'll give you the blueprint for what I've done in the past 5 years. And you didn't come to the Traveling Speakers Blueprint, but you are interested in that, you can book a call with me. Okay, you can book a 20-minute call with me and we'll go over what are you doing right now in your business. So this will be for people who already are like hosting events, whether they're virtual or in person. You're already doing some type of events, but you're not getting the type of traction that you want to get. Maybe you're not traveling, like nobody has sponsored for you to go to another city, and you want to put what you're doing up against my checklist. And we're going to do that on the call. Okay, so that's a free call you can get with me for 20 minutes. You can go to my bio. You'll also see somewhere in there that says book a call. All right. Now that the commercial break is over.
Your travel speakers workshop was awesome, by the way. I had so many notes. Oh my gosh, absolutely phenomenal. Like worth so much more than 1888. So everybody watching, I definitely can vouch, and I don't take advice from everybody. So if I'm saying that, it's definitely valuable. Okay, definitely tap in with Reverend Kamisha for sure.
I so appreciate that because I poured my little heart into that.
No, it was
little
great.
heart into them 3 days. I wanted to make sure that y'all didn't get a bunch of fluff, because I do know that it's a lot of that out here. Like, sign up for my free 3-day thing, and then you get on there and you be like, what is this? You know what I mean? Or it's just the whole thing is them selling you something, the whole 3 days, 5 days. I've been on workshops like that, and it's just like, this was really like,
I really just got on here just to be here, clearly, like, that's how it is. But no, yours was it gave us I love the homework and the actionable steps that you provided for us, because I'm kind of that type of person. I need homework, I need a breakdown. Once you give me a breakdown, I can fill in the gaps, but I love that you gave us a breakdown for everything. It was great.
All right, thank you. So listen, let's talk about, I'm going to open the floor for you, and you can go wherever you want to go with this. I want you and your experience to tell me, why do you think, from what you've done in your life and in your business, and you can plug yourself or whatever, talk about your business, what you do and all of that stuff, but make sure you include, like, how has incorporating astrology into your business actually helped you?
Yes, absolutely. So, hi guys. If you're not familiar with me, I am Michaela Rose. I own Occult House, Gift from Neptune, which is pretty much a like an archive of different spiritual practices and how to implement that, not just in your spiritual journey, but in your mundane life. So I'm really big on merging the physical with the metaphysical. Hence, my Facebook group is named Harmonizing the Physical and Metaphysical. But within that group, within my business, I have dealt with the frustration of dealing with lackluster launches, or not knowing how to talk to my target audience, or just really building a business that works with me energetically. I signed up for business courses. I've had business mentors. I still do, right? But I had to very much learn that it was more so my energy that I needed to hone in on and really embrace, and not try to copy somebody else's blueprint. And the only way, not the only way, but the best way to do that is to look at your cosmic blueprint, your natal chart. And so I kind of just started studying, okay, like you were talking about the transits, how my energy flow with the transits. Okay, what transits are working best, not just for me, but for my business. And then when I actually pulled my business's separate chart for itself, because your business is an entity, just like you are an entity. Your business was birthed the same way you were. So it also has a chart. Everything has a chart, right? And so once I really got into the chart of my business, that's when everything started clicking for me. So even for me, the simplest example that I can give is simply launching with the moon. So when I have a lunar return, or when my business has a lunar return, I'll promote something, I'll launch something new. I can even use the example of my first product, right, which was my Gift from Jupiter oil, which is now called Influx, right? This is my personal one, so the label's all oily. But anyway, when I first launched that, I launched it during a Cancer moon. My business has a Cancer moon. And I went to sleep. I literally posted it at 4 a.m., right? I said a prayer and I went to sleep. I woke up, it was sold out. And I had to add more products. I had to add a little bit more inventory later that day, because people were like, oh my gosh, I missed it. It's only 8 a.m. and I missed it. And it was so crazy. I was mind blown. And that is when I was like, okay, there's a method to this. And ever since then, I've kind of just been building off of that. And it's been great. So just launching with your moon is a great way to get started, even if you're not familiar with astrology. Because if you think about the moon, right, the moon is a satellite. It's receptive to the earth. So it's receptive to us. And it also represents who is receptive to you, if we think about that metaphorically. And it also represents the emotional connection that you have with your audience, because this is how you process your emotions. This is how you connect with people on an emotional level. So that's how you can cater your marketing to the emotional needs of who would resonate with you, if that makes sense. But yes, starting with your moon sign. And I can even share some of the old posts that I made documenting this journey, because, if you guys have been there with me since the beginning, you've kind of seen me post about this. Like, guys, I posted my Cancer moon and it did well. Post with your moon. Just start there.
I love that. I was going to ask you why the moon, but that makes sense. About how you being emotionally connected to your audience. Now, let me tag team you on that, because that's one of my examples, as far as me just going deeper into the psychology of myself and how I relate to my audience with my moon. Okay. So my moon is in Pisces and it's in the 7th house.
Yeah.
Right. It's all about my relationships, my one-on-one consultings. A lot of times people think the 7th house or Libra energy is about marriages and partnerships, but it's also about your one-on-one relationships that you have in your business.
Yes.
Okay. Any type of one-on-one relationships you have in your business. Now, right now, Neptune is in Pisces and is sitting right on it's conjunct. And if you know how slow Neptune move, okay? So it's conjunct to my moon in Pisces in the 7th house. And it helped me go so deep into some of my psychological, I don't want to call them issues, but my emotional connection to my audience and my one-on-one. I feel like Neptune and Pisces, because it's retrograde, right? Retrograde means it's going backwards. It's helping you go deeper. And although Neptune can represent chaos, you tell me whether you agree with this or not. When it goes retrograde, it could also bring clarity because it's helping you it's going backwards, right? It could bring some clarity to things that were chaotic.
For sure. I think it's a matter of working through the fog. If Neptune is naturally foggy, yes, you're able to make sense of the fog.
And so that's what I feel like is happening while it's sitting there. It's like I said, it's so slow. It's been sitting there for months like that. And it really helped me realize that like this emotional connection that I have when I'm doing one-on-ones, like my Akashic record readings, right? I would get so frustrated because I felt like these people get these Akashic record readings, they're not even doing nothing with them. And it's like, Neptune's like, whoa, like you too enmeshed. Right. And that's what Pisces energy also represents. It's just so much enmeshment. Like it's no boundaries.
Yeah. The 7th house too. The 7th house is about merging entities with people or energies with people.
Yes. So I'm saying all that to say, when I started noticing that the Neptune in Pisces in the 7th was sitting right on my moon in Pisces that was in 7th, it just opened up all of these like always going, but the moon represent mommy issues, and it just I just went deep into that thing. Like, girl, you need to step back from some of the way that you might be feeling about your audience. And I'm being very vulnerable and transparent for anybody who already that's listening. That's like, well, I got a one-on-one interpretation with you. And yes, I would be like getting emotional about that because I want them to see results and I want them to do the work, but it can't be so much to the point where it's exhausting me. Right?
You did your job.
So that's an example of how that moon energy, knowing your moon energy and also working with the transit when it comes around will help you in your business. I feel like when Neptune came in Pisces and it sat right there, it was like, no. We need to get some clarity on this. You too enmeshed with your audience. You know what I mean? And this is going back all the way to your mom issues and stuff like that. And so this is why I be telling people that, you don't only, a lot of times people, they want a business coach and they want strategies. That's why I'm launching the Patreon group, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. You need personal development coaching too. If you're not getting, if your mindset not right and you still got mommy issues, daddy issues, baby father issues, whatever mental stuff, that is going to spill over into your business.
Yes, right? Absolutely. Yes, even in the way that you communicate with them or the way that you get frustrated, or I'll even use the term bitterness, right? Because I'm a projector in human design. So I can notice an energetic shift when I'm starting to feel bitter about the way people are responding to me. But that also it incorporates your moon and how you are, not only how your audience is receptive to you, but how you're receptive to them. And if it just odes to a need to pivot. So I definitely agree.
Hold on, my bad. I was trying to check the comments.
No, you're good.
The video, and I actually opened the video up. I didn't want to do that. Go ahead. I'll check the comments later, y'all, because I don't want to distract myself. Go ahead. You were saying about the moon and about you notice, when you start to feel bitter about things going on in your business.
Yes, for sure. And then even for me, so I have an Aquarius moon, so I'm like right before you. Mine's in the 6th house, and so. In my natal chart, just to kind of switch gears a little bit, still on the topic of the moon, but in my personal natal chart, the 11th house, I always talk about the 11th house and how that's your key to wealth. The 11th house rules your audience. It rules the people that are willing to support you on your stage. This is who you are performing for specifically, right? So in my natal chart, I have Cancer in the 11th house as a Virgo rising. So not only does that mean my audience is looking for a nurturing community, but it also means they are looking for me to formulate those spaces that cater to those emotions, right? That cater that family-like environment, because the ruler of my 11th house is in the 6th house. So I know that I can find my audience in niche down groups that I create, right? That I'm the authority of. That's why I'm so big on Facebook groups. That's why I'm so big on Patreon. That's why I'm so big on email lists, people that can find communities behind the scenes that isn't so, it's not so thrown into the algorithm of social media. Like, no, people want to know that they can come to this place and it's a safe space and it's actually going to implement habits and routines that are going to change their lives in the physical world. We're not just here for the woo-woo, because I'm a spiritual brand. So a lot of spiritual brands are very woo-woo and very, like this candle and everything's going to be okay. No, I'm here to show you how that can help your physical life, right? And so that's what people come to me for, because that 6th house energy, the moon being in the 6th house for me, is about routines and daily habits in your work life. That's where the sun sets. This is where we are grounded back into the earth. So the scope of my business and my communities are all about how to ground yourself within your spiritual practice and not look at them as something separate.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You got me about to pull my damn natal chart up. I'm like, what's in my 11th house? I think my 11th house is actually empty, but I believe Saturn rules over Aquarius. Is that right? Saturn?
So as a Virgo rising and whole sign, yours would be Cancer as well. So that moon that you have that you're speaking on is also representing your audience. This is where you find your audience, in those one-on-one spaces, in those collaborations, like word of mouth, people who are recommending your business. So like I said, a whole sign, 11 signs from Virgo would be Cancer. But in Placidus, it might be a little different.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I just learned that the other day. I'm taking an astrology class, by the way. And I just learned that the counting, I forget what's the word for it, but like the counting from this house to that house, I was mind blown about that. Like, even with the critical degrees, I'm like, it's so many layers.
Oh my gosh, that brings me to something else too, right? So since you were talking about counting the houses, you can set any house. If you want to zone in on any house or any specific topic of your business, you can turn the chart. This is called derivative astrology. You can literally turn the chart and you can say, okay, so for example, right, let's say I want to do better at my marketing. You would turn the 9th house would rule your marketing, because this is your global reach. So you can turn your chart so that the 9th house is in your 1st house, and then you can kind of see how to connect the dots from there. So what example can I use? So in my business chart for this year, my 9th house would be, oh my gosh, I have notes on this. I wish I pulled them out sooner. My 9th house would be Virgo, right? But the 9th house, oh my gosh, I'm finna lose y'all. I don't even want to go too deep.
Don't go too deep, because
I'm gonna lose
they
y'all.
might be like how I was a few months ago. Houses moving the chart. Wait, what? So don't get. I
don't want to lose y'all. Yeah, but you can turn the chart and place anything in its 1st house, and you can kind of set that as the topic, and you can kind of see everything from there. So like she said, astrology goes so deep, and you can a lot of layers. Yes. And it all is cyclical, so you can really it all just goes around and around.
I just wanted to say something else. I wrote this in my notes too about how important it is to follow the moon. To me, this is one of the reasons why, as a business, piggybacking on what Michaela talked about, but this is a little bit more like psychological and dealing with your own emotions, right? If you follow the transits of the moon, and you will be able to see when it's getting ready to hit certain maybe sensitive parts in your chart, right? So if you know the moon is getting ready to hit like where your Chiron sits at, then you can be prepared. Now, why would you want to be? First of all, it's a very sensitive part of your chart, right? Because Chiron, for those who don't know, Chiron represents like your healing journey, right? Your inner healing journey, your inner child stuff, things like that. So if you know that the moon is about to hit that, you probably you probably about to feel something, right? Something is about to happen that could possibly disturb your day. And the moon moves very fast, right? I think it moves like every 2 days, 2.5 days,
every
something
2 days.
like that. So, but here's the thing. If you are working on time management skills, which is huge in being an entrepreneur, and you know that moon is about to come hit something, now you are prepared, because it could possibly come hit something, and now you're sitting over in the corner crying. You're supposed to be working on a damn content calendar. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna put yourself on this schedule to go live 5 days in a row, and now your baby father done came and triggered something that happened to you when you was 8 years old. I mean, I'm going deep with y'all. Okay, remember, I'm a metaphysician.
No, for real. Yes.
No, but you can prepare yourself for that, because now you know, okay, the moon is getting ready to, maybe I shouldn't go live on these days. Maybe I shouldn't set that
okay, because somebody might piss me off, and then now I'm over here being triggered and talking about my wounds, and I don't even want y'all to know me that deep right now. Okay, no, that's so funny that you say that, because I joke all the time about how I literally die during Scorpio moons, and my Chiron is in Scorpio. So literally, when the moon goes in Scorpio, I know, okay, y'all. My friends know, my audience knows, like, I'm disappearing. I do not exist. I may still be working behind the scenes, on little stuff, but I'm not talking to people. I'm not even on social media. Whatever y'all see on social media was scheduled already. Don't talk to me. So that's even an example. Or even when it's in Leo, in my 12th house. Leo is usually a super fun sign, but since it's in my 12th house, I don't have the energy. I'm more introspective, so I can plan my launches or my content accordingly and know, okay, I need to schedule out content for this period specifically, because I'm not going to feel like doing it.
Yo, that is so powerful to already know that you're going to feel a certain way, and you're probably not, to know when you're like when we talked about when Mars came into, both of us had that transit, Mars coming into our first house and feeling all this energy, like go, 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 go. Like that was in August, and that was the first month that I launched the 3-day traveling speakers blueprint. I was mind blown about how much shit I actually got done that month. At the end of the month, I even wrote in my journal, don't you ever do that to yourself again, because it was too much. It was like Mars was like, no, you can do it. Go, get up 5:30 in the morning. Go, 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 go. And then at the end of the month, I was like, oh, almost fell out. But you know what? That month, not to put y'all all in my business, but that was a good month too. Right? That was a good month, like financially. That was a good month. So yeah. Let me say this too, just real quick. Just let's do a little bit of word magic real quick. And I talked about this on the 3-day traveling speakers blueprint. So if y'all heard this already, y'all fitting to hear it again. We have to understand that when we want to, as a business owner or entrepreneur, you need systems in place. If you do not have systems in place, trust me, you are going to feel exhausted all the time, because you're going to be constantly trying to figure out what should you be doing today. Now I'm 7 years into, my business. If you want to start from when I got my LLC, I quit my job 2018. So I'm 5 years in, and I still fall off that system bandwagon. Okay. But what I'm getting at here is that the first system that we need to look to for guidance is the universe itself. The universe itself is a system. The zodiac itself is a system. As a matter of fact, the etymology of the word system is the universe. Okay, so when we complain about the system this and the system that and the white man's system and this system, no. Go. That's why y'all should be studying etymology. Okay, if you've been following me long enough, then you should know. You should already know that. But yes, when you look at the etymology of system, is the universe. So the universe is the zodiac. Well, that's like a good part of it, right? I'm not saying that's the end all be all, but when you pay attention to the actual zodiac and how it's structured, man, you're going to see so clearly, oh, this is how things are created. This is how things go from darkness to light. These are all the steps. I am, I have, I desire, I feel, I will. Like all of those are the steps before you actually step into the I am, the actual manifestation of the thing. So you definitely should be following that. And then another thing for word magic is that the word planet itself says plan it. It says plan it. So like it's the words are always going to tell y'all what to do. The word planet is telling you to plan it. Plan your social media calendar out with the damn planet. Right? You create with God. You always talking about you create your reality and all that. Create with the stars. The stars and the planets are literally screaming at you and saying, yes, plan everything with us. Follow us. Understand what's going to happen in the future or in the past by actually following our transits. I'm gonna pause. You got anything you want to add on to that, Michaela?
Oh no, that was, well, I two things. So with since you were talking about systems, I just wanted to put in a nudge that your sixth house will tell you how you best operate and how you best work. So if you want to know, like, okay, what kind of content should I put out, or how should I schedule my day, look to your sixth house. Like my business has Aries in the sixth house. So Aries is very impulsive. It's very dominating. And so my content, I've released myself from the shackles of always posting on my business page, right? When I actually am passionate about what I'm saying or the content that I'm putting out, that's when I see the best results from my content strategy. And I know there's a lot of different ways, we can strategize within our business, but looking to your sixth house will help you feel like you're not just throwing shit in the air and hoping that it sticks. You can actually work with the energetics of your business. I forgot what the other one I was going to say, but.
Well, that's okay. I wanted to talk about, because you mentioned, I forgot what you just said, but it made me think when we talked about the other day, we were talking, we had a Zoom call the other day and we were talking about that Saturn and Leo, right? In the 12th house. And I realized that every year around December, I definitely don't want to be bothered with social media. And I always take breaks. Even if I'm scheduling my stuff out, I'm starting to feel it now, right? I start to pull back. I don't want to help everybody solve their mommy daddy issues. I love y'all, but that's just the energy that I'm feeling, especially around November, but definitely in December, because last year I did the same thing. And so that's why if you've been following my posts, I've been saying I'm about to go stealth on my page. I'm literally about to deactivate everything. And I personally feel like I'm finally realizing that is that Saturn and Leo energy. Like it's in my 12th house. So it's saying that like, you don't always need to be everywhere all the time. You actually need to go into seclusion sometimes. So because when we get ready to go into that Capricorn season, which is ruled by Saturn, I feel it more deeply, like what my natural natal transit is. I feel it more deeply because we are in December. Do that make sense, what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It absolutely does. And I think this season in particular for us as Virgo risings feels like that anyway, because, of course, Scorpio is a introspective dark month anyway. But it also rules our third house.
Break it up a little bit. Hold on.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you.
Oh God.
You froze, but I can hear you.
Okay. Well, as long as you can hear me.
It's okay. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say for us as Virgo risings, Scorpio rules our third house, which is communication and diving deeper into our own psyche. And then as the year ends, it goes into our fourth house and then our fifth house. So we're really going from learning about our psyche to implementing it into our new foundation, into implementing it into our self-expression during Capricorn season. That way we can implement it into our routines during Aquarius season. So it very much aligns with what you're saying, especially knowing that you're a Virgo rising. And the bottom half of the chart is very introspective, as well as that Saturn in the 12th house, which is all about self-mastery. But I'm specifically thinking about the transits in reference to the bottom half of your chart.
That makes so much sense, because it's like, yeah, that part of my chart, especially when we, like I said, we get ready to go into like the Aquarius season, and that's naturally. And I don't know, maybe everybody might be feeling that, but I don't know. For me, like I naturally start to feel like, yeah, I don't want to talk to y'all, which also, but the 11th house is like a lot of the networking, like you said, your network is your net worth. But I'll be feeling like I'm falling back during those time frames.
But we have to also remember that the 11th house and Aquarius are not necessarily the same, right? Your 11th house is completely different from Aquarius. There's a completely different sign there, right? And so, you know, even though Aquarius does rule communities in networking, it also rules forward thinking and how we can innovate ourselves, right? And so with it being in our sixth house and whole sign, this is how we can innovate our routines and innovate our approach to our work too, you know?
Mm-hmm. I got another example for y'all.
Yes.
Michaela, I don't know how much time you got. I can talk about this all day, but we're not going to
I can too.
We're not going to do that. I got another call anyway at 3:00. So we'll definitely, let's say we'll go maybe like another 15 minutes or so. But I got another example. Actually got two more examples, but I'll give you both. This one is, I'll make it short. So this was maybe like sometime in the summertime. Mars was in Leo. Mm-hmm. And at the time I was reading my chart like a Placidus chart. I didn't quite understand like the difference between Placidus and whole houses. So when I saw it, it looked like it was in the 11th house. Whatever. We're not about to have a whole conversation about the difference between those. All I know is that when I read it, I was like, oh, Mars is telling me to be assertive here, to take action here, and to do some networking here, right? Because it's the 11th house. And so because it was in Leo, it was like telling me to have courage to do that, to have courage to go network, basically. Now, mind you, exactly when this transit happened, I was on Facebook scrolling and I commented on somebody's post, and then a lady commented back and was like, it was a business post. She was like, oh, I see you're in Philadelphia. We should meet for coffee or something like that. And I'm like, I don't know this lady from a can of paint, but I know that right now my transit is telling me that I need to take action, that I need to be assertive, that I need to network, and I need to have courage. Let's do it, right? Because transit, I said, let's do it. So we met at Starbucks. This lady, we was in there for 3 hours. Okay, she's a coach. She's a business coach. She poured into me so much in those 3 hours. She is actually the one that told me that I need to teach people how to get paid to speak, teach, and travel. Because in my head, I don't know, like for whatever reason, I didn't think that like I could do that. But after I told her everything I did, she was looking at me like, well, why don't you just teach people that? Like you have had success at it already. Like, you know, so she basically helped me massage that. She helped me massage my offer. And that is what unlocked everything else. Like that is what unlocked like the 3-day traveling speakers event that y'all see me do for the past 3 months. It's all because I ran into her. That's one example.
Oh my gosh. You know, I see you as your chart, right? So I'm just over here like connecting the dots, and my mind is so blown because I'm like, this makes so much sense. Mars rules your 3rd and your 8th house, Scorpio and Aries.
That's true.
3rd house is communication, short distance travel, you know, with our words though, and moving around and being able to speak and teach. And not only that, but bring broad concepts down into elementary understanding. That way other people can understand. The 8th house is the money that your business makes. And so connecting those two and while the ruler of both, was in your 11th house of networks, that makes so much sense that your connection was able to bring those two in alignment. Oh, I love astrology. This is great.
I know. It just, I was mind blown by that because sometimes, you know, again, with the astrology, it's not always like it's happening to you. Sometimes you can even be a witness to it. It might not even be happening to you. You could just be watching it. That's another thing I learned too. Another thing I learned, something happened and I'm like, oh, this says that there's going to be an argument with my siblings, right? Mars came into the 3rd house and it was like, somebody finna be arguing. Wasn't me though. It wasn't me, but I watched it happen and I was like, oh shit, like, okay,
there it is.
Crazy. But as far as me meeting the lady, yes, the transit people show up, like gurus could show up. So here go another example for you. Now I could be reaching with this. Okay, you tell me if I'm reaching with this. This just happened yesterday. Mars is in my 3rd house and it's conjunct with my natal Uranus and Scorpio. Okay, but it's also opposing, and I know people that's listening, right? Listen, just Michaela, you just listen to me, okay?
I got you.
It's also opposing my Jupiter and Taurus, okay? Almost exactly. They're all within like a 3 degree range.
Okay.
Yesterday, I inboxed one of my coaches, right? I'm in her coaching program, but I'm not in the big one, the one that you got to pay $1,000 a month. But I absolutely adore this lady, okay? And I inboxed her and told her I'm ready to move up, like to the next level. And she started asking me questions, and she was like, well, let me just help you now so that by the time you come into the program, you'll already be like prime. She started coaching me right there in the inbox. Like, she started asking me all these questions. Like, basically, again, this was another person that helped or that said, like, no, I'm going to help you unlock something like right now. I looked at that like, okay, Jupiter and Taurus, which is the teacher, like the guru, right? In money, it was also aligned with their whole my business stuff, Mars in the third house, how I communicate with my audience. Because the question she was asking me, she was helping me go deeper into what problem do you help your audience solve, which I feel like I know, but she on a whole nother level with it, right? Did that make sense what I'm saying? Like, the Mars in my third house helping me unlock, like, what problem do I really help my audience? Mars, and then the Scorpio, right? So it's going deeper into what the problem really is. And then this guru, I'm calling her a guru, but the teacher, which is a Jupiter thing, is it all aligned with a teacher showing up again. Does that make sense? Did you keep up with that?
I'm following along. It makes sense in my brain. Yes. Okay. I don't know if I could articulate it to them, but it's making sense to me. It's making sense to me.
Okay. But no, I'm saying I brought that up because that was two different examples of a transit happening and someone showing up to help you work through something that you're currently working on in your business. Like, they show up at the exact time that you need them to show up, and they basically help unlock something. That's why I was saying all that. For those who listen, like, Kamisha, what the hell are you talking about? I'm talking about a person, like a actual person showing up.
They're like, I don't know what it means, but it sounds provocative.
Look, what they say in that song, we don't know what it means, but it gets the people going. Well, listen, if you listen to all that and you're like, this sounds really interesting, this sounds really good, that's why in my Patreon group, the top level, think of it as an elevator, okay? There's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 is applying astrology to your business. You're going to learn all of that stuff in there. Now, I wouldn't say if you come in like and you never looked at a natal chart in your life, this is going to be over your head because we're not going to baby you, right? I know I'm not going to baby you. I'm not going all the way back to Mars means no. You need to go on Google or YouTube or something. Like, we're not going to go that like babyish with it. But if you have some sense of knowing, understanding, like, your chart, like you looked at your chart, you understand how to look at the houses and all that, and you have a business, this is going to be phenomenal for you. Phenomenal for you. I guarantee you're going to make decisions. Like, I even talked about in the Traveling Speakers Blueprint, the VIP class, when I showed them how to use Mercury and them making decisions on when to promote something. Like, Mercury, when it has certain, like a trine to Jupiter and stuff like that, that's literally telling you, like, you should promote right now. Like, you should promote something today because Mercury is trying to Jupiter right now. You see what I'm saying? So it will tell you, like, this is Jupiter and Taurus. So this is going to tell you, like, you could probably make a lot of money today. Promote something, right?
Yes.
So that's what I mean by you can actually plan your content out by looking at how transits are moving. All right, I feel like I've been talking a lot. I've been talking too much.
No, you are good. You are good.
I want to ask you.
Absolutely.
Your opinion on this, and I feel like we probably agree on this. What do you think is the best thing to use as far as you following the transits? Because I know we have our own personal natal chart, right? But then you could use, like, when you launched your business, right? Like your actual LLC date. You could use a launch date for, I don't know, some type of program that you want to launch or whatever. Like, what do you think is the best thing to use?
So in regards to, I think it really just depends on how you're positioning yourself within your business. So I touched on this before as well. If you are a personal brand who is promoting pretty much on your own personal social media, you're the face of your brand, you can use your natal chart. I use both. I use both my personal and my business natal chart. Now, if your brand can stand on its own with or without you, use your business's natal chart. And so for me, I would recommend using when you got your LLC. I personally used when I bought my domain because that happened before I purchased my LLC. And so to me, that was the birth of my business. Now, an LLC makes your business a legal entity. So that's absolutely a great time to use. Just mark it down. If you can't remember the time, try to remember, was it before sunrise? Was it after sunrise? Or you can just use noon and you can read it without the houses, but try to at least just write down the time. But again, for me, since I'm an astrologer, I write down the time for everything. So I used when I bought my domain. You can use them separately and together. I recommend using them together. And you can even, if you're a little more advanced with astrology, you can look at the synastry chart of both. So you know that how you fit into your own business and how to speak from that angle. I hope I didn't lose you.
That makes a lot of sense what you said about the synastry, because so like in the traveling speakers in the VIP class, I shared with them my business chart and my personal chart. And my business is a Gemini. And my business is a Sun Gemini and a rising Sun Gemini.
Wow.
That's what I mean. Like it just made so much sense. Like the way that I break down words and all of that stuff. Like it's like a perfect match for what I do.
It's so funny because my personal chart and my business chart, it's as if it took my personal chart and turned it. So my personal rising it's midheaven. My personal sun is in the 4th house. So it's like I've really created a brand that is solidified in who I am and how I want to present myself to the world. So it's really cool to see how they play along with each other. And this year, I said this on social media too. This year, my business has a Gemini rising for its solar return. And it's so crazy how I'm diving deeper into teaching, into, speaking more, into getting on live more. And I didn't even realize that until recently. I was like, oh, shoot, my business does have a Gemini rising this year. And look at me connecting with people like you. That's Sagittarius 7th house. Connecting with people who are reverends, who are gurus. Like this is so in alignment with my chart. So a lot of times you'll even recognize ways that you're moving in alignment and you don't even know. So at the bare minimum, it'll at least serve as confirmation that you're on the right track. And whenever you veer off, because even as an astrologer, I'm not constantly like, okay, let me consult the chart about everything, but when I do feel like I'm lingering off a little bit and I feel a little lost, it always serves as a groundwork. Okay, I can always come back to this chart and reference, okay, what do I need to fine tune in this area that I feel like I'm falling off a little bit.
So as far as like you mentioned, like actually going and looking at the chart, how often do you look at it?
So I tend to look at it
for business purposes.
Yeah, I tend to look at it when I am making new copywriting. When I am thinking about like launching something that might be a little different, I'm still trying to figure out if it fits within the brand. I'll look within it that way, like how to position it within the brand. I'll look at my business chart at least once a month. It's not on a set schedule, but at least at some point during the month, I'm checking within it. At the bare minimum, if I have a date in mind, I look at the transits of that date in reference to the chart and see, okay, is this a good day to launch, or am I gonna get some pushback from this?
Yeah, that's what I do too. With my launch dates, or like all the dates that I picked for the 3-day traveling speaker, I always looked at the actual what was going on astrologically. Like the first time I did it on the Lionsgate portal. I did it on August the 8th because it was Leo energy. Leo's all about being front and center on the stage, all eyes on me. You know what I mean? So it just made perfect sense for me to launch it on that day. But yeah, that's the reason why you should be looking, so that you can figure out launch dates and stuff like that. But anyway, I think we covered a lot of stuff.
We covered a ton. I said we covered a ton, and I hope you guys who are watching this at least can
I didn't lose y'all, because I definitely could be like over people's heads sometimes.
To summarize, we could talk about well, not talk about, but to summarize, you can look at your moon, you can look at Mercury. Those two, I think, are two of the best planets to look at. Moon for launch dates, Mercury for copy. Mercury also rules commerce. You can also look at Mercury for launch dates. So I would definitely recommend looking at those two the most. And then, from there, you can just kind of build out on your knowledge. But I hope that gave you guys a good place to start.
Yeah, at the bare minimum, right? At the bare minimum.
At the bare minimum.
Follow the moon, follow Mercury.
Yes.
I also like Venus, but we don't got to get into
I love Venus
all
too.
of that.
Yeah. So on my page, guys, I have a few little graphics to kind of point you in the right direction.
Oh yeah.
I have a business like carousel post for the houses and for the planets. The planets would include some angles too, like your rising, your midheaven, Chiron, all of that. And then I have some for working with Libra and Scorpio energy. If you guys want to check out it's in an album, so you can check out the Business Astrology album. I also have a Facebook group called Business Alchemy, where I've been sharing all of my business astrology stuff there as well. If you guys want to join that, I will make sure to link it when we get off of here if you come to my page. But definitely have some good places to start. And both of us are here providing our services. Join the Patreons, because it's definitely a lot to dive into on one live. And I know we both are excited to help you guys solidify and build your brands utilizing the stars.
Absolutely. Okay, y'all. So I'm gonna hop off. All the links, everything we talked about, Michaela's page, her group, and the Patreon waitlist, all of that stuff will be in the comments. And so I hope to see y'all later. All right.
Thank you so much,
Michaela, for joining me.
Oh, absolutely. I had fun. Bye.